Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth and I am back doing a quick video today on how to love yourself. I know that this is a crazy time and there definitely needs to be more love in the world at this time, so I feel like this video is timely. I also feel like for me personally, it's taking me time to put this into practice and really kind of discover, the best ways to love myself, because for a long time I really didn't, and I didn't really understand the concept of how to do that. It just seems so kind of like airy-fairy out there. People would always say love yourself, but I feel like a lot of people don't even know what that means. What does it mean to love yourself, and why should we love ourselves, and what's the point, I guess, of loving ourselves, right? And people are always saying, well, you can't have a relationship until you love yourself. And so I want to go into the top 3 ways that I think is the best practice in loving yourself. And I encourage you to do these 3 things. But I also am going to talk a little bit after about why I think it's important, and why especially it's important in relationship, and what it kind of means, okay? So the first way to love yourself, and the quickest and fastest, is to write yourself a love letter. Okay, now I'm a very practical person. I like the practical approach to loving yourself rather than this like, okay, well, I need something to kind of grasp onto. So when you write yourself a love letter, I want you to really hang on to it and put it in a very safe place, and put it in a place where you can go and you can look at it. I put mine originally in my sketchbook. You can put it in a journal someplace. You just tape the envelope into the sketchbook and revisit it every time you feel low, or you feel sad, or you feel lonely or depressed. You just read it again, okay? A lot of people don't know how to write a letter, or write a love letter. There's a lot of books on love letters, so definitely hit up the library and check out those books for inspiration, love letter books. There was an episode on Sex and the City back when it was on TV where, no, it wasn't an episode, sorry, I think it was Sex and the City 2, the movie, where she wants Big, her love interest, or her partner, to write her love letter. And so there was this big thing about it in the movie. But anyways, there's tons of books on love letters, and I always tell people to write it as if you're writing it to your very best friend in the world, somebody who you really do love and someone who you really do care about. Only instead of writing, dear, so-and-so, you write, your name. So for me, it's Dear Beth. For you, it might be Dear Jane, or Dear Tom, or whatever your name is, you put that at the top, okay? So write yourself a love letter, and make it sincere, and keep it in a safe place. And I bet you're going to feel differently about yourself after you've written this to yourself. And I did a whole video, actually a long time ago. The first love letter that I ever wrote to myself, I actually wrote it on a solar eclipse, which is very interesting. And it definitely changed my life. It changed the way I looked at myself. And I really realized, I think for the first time, my value, my worth, after I wrote that, and I was really showing up for myself. So it's important that you write yourself a love letter and keep it. And you can write multiples. You don't have to do just one. You can write one every day to yourself if you want. Some people, and this brings me to the next point, okay? So some people don't really know their love language, okay? And it's important, writing yourself a love letter is important, especially for people who words of confirmation is their love language. So there's some people that need to have positive coaching, positive feedback via, words. Some people, they don't really resonate with words. So if you're a person that doesn't resonate with words, then you might actually resonate with the emotion in the love letter, okay? But at the same time, I encourage you to figure out what your love language is. Definitely read the 5 love languages and figure out what is your love language. That way you can actually love yourself better. So for instance, Like, one of my love languages is giving and receiving gifts. Okay, so I love to get people gifts. I'm a gift giver. I love gifts. Okay, I love to receive gifts. I love to give gifts. It's one of my top love languages. And so in order to love myself, I buy myself something. So recently I bought myself a new pair of shoes, and it felt really good to me. It made me feel really good. So if you figure out what your love language is and then do it, say as if you were doing it for someone else, but you do it for yourself, then that is you loving yourself. But writing yourself a love letter is a great way to check off a lot of boxes as far as words of confirmation. It is sort of like giving yourself a gift for those of you, you know, and then it is having that emotional connection to yourself and understanding how you feel. It's like, it's almost as if you are understanding yourself. It's important that you do that, okay? Okay, so that's the first. So writing yourself a love letter, number one. Number two is make a video of yourself, okay? And watch it, okay? You can blow yourself hugs and kisses. You can tell yourself that you're amazing. Basically, I didn't really start to really see myself until I actually started doing this channel. And when I started doing this channel, it's almost as if I created I actually realized, okay, like I'm this person and I can love this person. It's almost like I created someone who I could love, okay? And there's a part of me that really just looks at my videos, and it's like, there needs to be, I feel like for some people, a face, okay? So it's like in order to love themselves, they need to see a face. It's almost like, is if you know, if you have a girlfriend or if you have a boyfriend, there's a person that you're putting all this energy and love into. But a lot of times we are not facing ourselves. We don't see ourselves. When we look in the mirror, we pick ourselves apart. We don't see ourselves in the positive way. We see ourselves in the negative way. And so by doing a video, you're creating actually a person that you can love, okay? And I don't care how many times you need to play it a day. I don't care what you say. It's just something that I recommend doing. So writing yourself the love letter, you can actually even do a video of yourself writing the love letter also, or reading yourself a love letter to yourself, because that's another great way to do it. I also encourage you, you know, to when you make a video, to pretend again that you are almost as like you're doing it for a girlfriend or boyfriend, okay? With that amount of love and that amount of positive intention, okay? So my video would look something like, hey Beth, how's it going? You look great today. I just want you to know I love you so much, and I appreciate you so much for, you know, all your time and effort that you put into your work and your friendships and the people in your life, and that you're very so caring and kind. Just want you to know I love you. That's it. Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Hugs and kisses. Bye. And that would be it. Okay. That's like my little, you know, so you just change the name. Okay. So you just say, hi, Sherry. It's Sherry. Just wanted to say hi, you know, and do the same thing. Okay. So, you know, so that's your little video. Okay. So number three is a little bit more, less practical, but it's still just as important, okay? You can go back into your memory and visualize showing up for yourself, okay? Almost as if you're rewinding the movie of your life and showing up for yourself in a part of your life that was really hard. So some people have been abused. Some people have, you know, gotten into a fight with someone. Some people, it's just arguments. Even if you've had a really great life and nothing bad has happened to you, okay, then you can still show up for yourself in the past. Maybe in a moment, you know, just before you go to sleep, you can sit by yourself, you know, and give yourself a kiss on the cheek before you go to bed. Maybe you can show up for yourself when maybe you're going, you know, taking a test in school, or you're riding the bus home, you know, when you were a child, or something where you're actually remembering that moment so you can literally visualize yourself going. So I want you to, in order to do this, I want you to close your eyes and literally visualize the older version of you stepping, like let's just say if you're riding home on the bus as a child, stepping on the bus, getting into the bus, and sitting down next to your past self, okay? And you can put your arm around your past self. You can give yourself, a kiss on the cheek. You can say any kind of words of confirmation. Things are going to get better. Things are going to be okay. Don't worry. You're going to pass the test. Anything that's positive and that's reinforcing and that's loving. Okay, that's the point. Okay, so I've done a lot of I've done a lot of times where I've gone back, especially for where I didn't do the right thing as far as leaving when I needed to leave, or getting into arguments with ex-boyfriends. Instead of locking the door and saying goodbye, I let them in. So you can show up for yourself and lock the door and rewrite the past. Essentially, you can't rewrite it, you can't relive it exactly, but you can go back and change the energy and love yourself for any choices that you made and actually change the choices that you made. So like I said, if you got into the car, instead of saying, you know what, I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be getting into the car, you can actually get out of the car with your past self and let the car go. So it's a way to forgive yourself, and it's a way to kind of and love yourself, and by doing these little things, I feel like it's going to help you, okay? The whole point is showing up for yourself. It's really about, it's the same concept as if you were making a video of yourself, but you need to visualize your life as being a video, and you going back and changing the energy and really being present. So for some people, maybe their best friend ditched them, or maybe, they had a thing with their parents and, something happened. And so you need to show up at those times that were critical, or maybe you were in crisis, but you can just show up in a moment that you can remember from your past. You can show up yesterday. If you were at work and you're that day sucked or whatever, you can show up at work for yourself and love yourself, and put an arm around yourself, give yourself a kiss on the cheek, say nice things, anything that you can do to really express love, okay? So those are my 3 things that I want you to try doing. Let me know how you guys do. I want to talk for a second about why it's important to do this, okay? Why I think it's important, especially at this time. It is important because we project onto other people a lot of times, okay? Especially in relationships, romantic relationships, but all relationships, we see other people very clearly, but we don't see ourselves, and we don't love ourselves because we can't see it. There's not really enough of a disconnect. And when we do see ourselves, like I said, in the mirror, we're constantly putting ourselves down, especially in our culture. Our culture is all about putting ourselves down instead of loving ourselves. So we need to really turn it around. So by writing yourself a love letter, you're really telling yourself, no, I really do love you, and you are really, really worth it, and you are better than this, okay? And by doing the video, you're actually creating that person that you can actually see yourself in a positive way, okay? And if you make the video, I want you to make it so, it doesn't have to be long too, it can be very short. I want it to be where you're not picking yourself apart when you watch it, okay? That's very important not to do, okay? So if you're watching the video and going, you suck, why did I wear that shirt today, it's totally defeating the point, okay? The whole point of you making a video of yourself is sending you positive energy. So when you look at yourself, you're loving yourself rather than picking yourself apart. Okay, so it's super important for those reasons, but I also feel like it's important for us regarding relationships to love ourselves, because a lot of times we pick ourselves apart, but also we don't raise the bar, okay? It's kind of like we keep the bar really low because we think we don't deserve it, okay? Because we don't know how special we are, okay? So again, it took me time to do so many videos where I was constantly watching myself, and finally it was finally almost like as if I was seeing myself out of the corner of my eye. And I could really see myself as a different person in the way I perceived myself, okay? And that's what I want to have happen for you. I want you to see yourself differently than the way you normally do, okay? And yeah, so it's about building self-worth, it's about building self-esteem, and it's about understanding that you are deserving of a healthy relationship, you are deserving of love, and you are deserving of people who treat you right, people who don't disrespect you, people who do care for you. And another reason why it's important to love yourself is because right now in culturally, we have a you first kind of perspective. It's sort of like everybody's like, well, I'll love you when you love me, okay? Or you have to treat me right first and then I'll treat you right back after, you know? And it's almost like I've noticed this with people too. This is where, you know, if you give something to someone and then they give to you, it's again all about it's all about that you first. And you need to do it first. And then when I see that you've changed and I see that you've then I'll do it. You know, so it's a negative perspective on relationships, because we have to love ourselves first. And we have to say, okay, well, I'm going to love no matter what because I love myself enough. And I'm going to set the bar higher because I love myself enough. And I'm going to do more for others because it's a good thing to do, okay? Because you feel good in yourself to do it, and because it makes you feel good, and because it makes the other person feel good. And that brings me to another thing. A lot of people do for others, there's the opposite thing. They do for others because it makes them feel good. And I've been guilty of this in the past, where I've overdone it for people because it does, in some level, make me feel good. But so it's really less about them and more about me. And the thing is, it's supposed to be really about the other person. If you're going to be giving and showing the other person love. So again, we have kind of like two things going on culturally. This, I'll do it when you do it. I'll be nice if you're nice. I'll leave the relationship if you leave the relationship. I'll give when you give. You know, there's that. And then there's that doing things because it actually is very self-serving. Doing things because for the wrong reasons, okay? Staying things because it's secure, or doing things because it brings you something. And it's very egocentric. And the ego needs to learn, in our culture, we need to learn that it's okay to love someone else, and it's healthy to love someone else. And it's okay to be vulnerable in the right instances. And it's okay to keep boundaries, healthy boundaries for people we don't want in our energy and who we don't want to be around us. It took me a very long time to be discerning, and that means, you know, you don't have to love everyone, okay, that comes to you, okay? Every person that shows up and wants to go on a date, you don't have to love everyone. And I feel like there's this polarity where it's like we're taught we have to trust everyone, we have to love everyone, and that's not healthy, because we have to be discerning about people we let into our lives, and make healthy choices. And the video soon to follow this is discovering the art of decision making, how to make decisions, and I'm going to be leaving a link for it up here. Okay, so just letting you guys know that I am going to be doing that shortly after. But it's important for us to know that to love ourselves enough to make healthy decisions, number one, to set our boundaries and keep them, number two, to not let people in who are there to rob us, hurt us, harm us, or bring us down in some way, okay? And to learn that and to learn to give selflessly. To give selflessly because we have enough love in our hearts to give. That's the point, okay? That we can share with others. And the problem is, again, it goes back to people not feeling enough love. So they don't feel like they have enough to give. And it's almost like it's like a hoarder type syndrome, I feel like culturally, where it's like we can never feel enough, have enough clothes in order to feel secure, right? We can never have enough money in order to feel like we can go out and do what we want. We can never have enough cars and have enough houses and have enough kids and have enough, all this stuff. It's sort of like the hoarder syndrome, okay? So essentially, you need to get to a point where you love yourself and feel, okay, I really do love myself, and you feel better. And you feel good enough to love, okay? And that's the point. So that's why, and that's why I think it's healthy, and that's why I think it's important that everybody sort of learn. If you can write yourself a love letter, and if you can make a little video for yourself, and if you can go back and visualize showing up for yourself, you've taken a huge step forward than most people in the world right now. Because everybody else is in that place of, I don't have enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough clothes. I don't have enough love. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves, values me for who I am. So why should I value anybody else? Okay. That's where everybody is right now. Okay. And everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting for the other person to show up. And everybody's waiting for their Mr. or Mrs. Right to show up. Okay. Miraculously. But again, that's almost like, I think of it as like the toddler syndrome. We're all kind of like toddlers right now. And we're stuck somewhere back in the past. Like we're expecting as if, relationships to come to us without doing any work, without loving ourselves first, without setting any boundaries, without knowing our worth, without having any self-esteem. And so we're just like toddlers. We're just walking around screaming and crying and whining and complaining, and it's not healthy. So it's important that we get to a place of adulthood. And again, that toddler thing, it's like we're expecting our parents or our mom to come to feed us. That whole toddlers can't do things on their own, right? They need somebody else there to feed them and to clothe them and all that. So you're waiting in some way. If you're watching this video, you're waiting in some way for something to happen, whether it's a relationship to show up, whether it's for someone to tell you they love you, whether it's for you to feel self-worth, whether it's for you to feel self-esteem or feel better about yourself. And again, culturally, nobody feels good about themselves. I've worked in several department stores, okay? And let me tell you, I don't feel like I met one person who felt confident in themselves. I think maybe one 60-year-old lady, okay? One 60-year-old lady, that's not enough. Out of millions of people on this planet, people do not think well of themselves. People do not love themselves, and people do not think that they are beautiful. People do not think that they're amazing, and they're waiting for others to validate them, and they're waiting for others to show up for them. And the thing is that when you show up for yourself, and you can validate it for yourself, and you can feel confident, and you can feel good, and you can feel loved, which is totally possible, then your life will change, because you're no longer in that place of needing somebody else, wanting somebody else to come clothe you and feed you. You can do it yourself. And in that moment, you will be like very attractive to other people, very attractive, because you will love yourself enough to have respect for yourself, for not settle for less, for not be in that place of why me, poor me, or feeling like not good enough, okay? A lot of times we feel not good enough based on our appearance, based on our past, based on, what other people have told us, okay? So it's important to love yourself for this reason, because this will help you to heal from the past, and to heal from shit that other people have said, and to heal from making poor decisions in relationships, and settling for things that weren't good for you or weren't of your highest good, I want to say. So I definitely encourage, especially ladies out there who are watching this video, to love yourself enough, love your body, love who you are, as a whole package, okay? I find it very easy. I find it very easy to love females, but females have a very hard time for loving themselves, especially in our culture. So it's very important that you, females especially, love yourself. Now, guys that are watching, it's important that you love yourself. Also, just as much as the ladies, for who you are, and to not feel like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on guys to feel like they have to play a masculine role, to feel like they have to be, you know, all these things for everyone, for their family, and there's a lot of pressure. Love yourself for all those things that you do. And if you're a guy, do something nice for yourself. Take the pressure off and say, you know what, I'm going to do something nice for myself. I'm going to go out and, you know, maybe, I don't know, I see a bunch of guys maybe getting together and doing things. I also see guys maybe going shopping and getting something, taking some alone time. Guys need alone time just as much as girls do. So maybe taking some alone time, turning off your cell phone, maybe going for a drive. I see someone going for a drive. So it's important that you guys do that. Literally the guys, okay? And take the pressure off and stop feeling like you have to conform or that you have to be something else that you are, okay? So you guys, you know, the males that are watching need to do the video just as much as the females do. Watch it, show up for yourself, and say, you know what, it's okay. I love myself for me, and I love myself for the whole person that I am, and it's going to change your perception of you. And it might take some time too, because you might watch it and be like, okay, it's just a video of me saying, hi, I love you, bro. You know, but in like a week or two, I want you to play it again and watch it again and see what you think then, and then make another one for yourself and watch it again. And it seems silly, but I feel like for those of you guys who don't like writing, the video might be the best way to go, okay? And I think that's all that I want to say. Know that you guys, everybody who's watching this video is a special person. You're special, you're loved, you're capable of so much more, you're capable of loving so many people in your life, and you are worth so much more than you give yourself credit for, okay? So make sure you're showing up for yourself, make sure you're loving yourself, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, make sure you're setting healthy boundaries in relationships, make sure that you're not expecting the world to bring it to you, make sure that you're bringing it to it and saying, you know what, I have so much love to offer, because you do. We all do. So on that note, I wish you guys all the best. I will be back again for more videos, so stay tuned. I send you guys big hugs, big kisses. And I will talk to you guys again soon. All right, take care. All the best. Bye.